She gets under your skin, and you can't let go. Her aura, her essence, even in her absence, is so moving, so charismatic, and ultimately so powerful that it has survived 33 years of her not being on Earth. That is something beautiful and extraordinary. Keeley Moss.
Okay, Keeley, let's transition into your album Floating Above Everything Else that came out last year. And let's go into a deeper dive. I would love to listen to a few songs, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The first song is called Glitter, The Glitter and the Glue, track number 3. And let's take a listen and feel free to analyze and share whatever you like. The Glitter and the Glue by Keeley from the album Floating Above Everything Else.
What a life, what a mess I've gotten into. Now I'm stuck in the gutter with the glitter and the glue. What a life, what a mess I've gotten into. Now I'm stuck in the gutter with the glitter and the glue. Meeting the peace and another mountain of emails I've got to reply. No sleep for another night. The details of the death are running through my mind. What a life, what a mess. What a life, what a mess. What a life, what a mess she wandered into. Now I'm stuck in the gutter with the glitter and the glue. What a life, what a mess she wandered into. Now I'm stuck in the gutter with the glitter and the glue. Meeting with me, you say, and another mountain of emails I've got to reply. No sleep for another night. The details of the death are running through my meeting with me, you say, and another mountain of emails I've got to reply. No sleep for another night. The details of the death are running through my mind. What a life, what a mess. What a life, what a mess. What a life, what a mess.
Okay. I know why I selected that track. Would you like to tell the listeners more about what was going on lyrically? How was that arranged? Did you have any struggles composing that song? Give us a little backstory.
Okay. Well, it was a song that felt like it wrote itself in a sense. It came about very quickly, very easily, with no sense of kind of arduous struggle about it. It was as immediate to write as it is to hear. It's very direct and it's quite punky, and it's got I think sonically, I think my producer, Alan McGuire, captured it really well in terms of how we recorded it and how he produced it, and that it has this kind of savage immediacy to it, which is in line, obviously, with aspects of the story behind the song. When I wrote it, it was quite at odds with the rest of the material I was writing, because a lot of the material I write has a certain dreaminess about it. And this song didn't have any dreaminess about it. It was just very, like, it's very concise. It's only 2.5 minutes long, 2 minutes, 27 seconds or something like that. Incredibly short. So it's like a short, sharp shock. So I originally always kind of put it to one side. And I just assumed that it wasn't going to work with the rest of the songs because it was kind of at odds. I haven't written many songs that sound like The Glitter and the Glue. There's one other song on the record that is a total, you know, kind of a blitzkrieg, breakneck speed rocker, which is Forever's Where You Are. But they're the only two songs of a kind, really, that I've written that are like that. So I was trying to see could I give it away to somebody, because I kind of didn't see that it would have a place on the records or in the live set. I was kind of thinking, I was going to full shoulder it. And what happened was I couldn't find anyone to give it to. I mean, I was even looking to try and give it to someone to put on because my attitude is like, I always like to only release a recording once. Yeah, so I was trying to kind of give it away to a compilation, but I couldn't find anyone that wanted it, because no one in Ireland really wanted anything that I could do. So I hung on to it. And then when I released Last Words as the debut single, and then I was looking, and that got a lot of airplay and stuff, and I was looking to try and release a follow-up single. And The Glitter and the Glue was the song that Alan sent back a really killer mix of it. And I thought, my God, this is too good not to put it out under my own steam. And I thought, actually, I'm going to put it out as the next single. After a couple of adjustments to the mix, made those adjustments, and we released it. And that song got me the deal with Dimple Discs. And then I became label mates with Cathal Coughlan of Micro Disney, my favourite Irish band, and the Faglan Mansions and all that, and the Undertones. And so that song was absolutely instrumental in my meeting my manager, our manager, Nick Clift, who I've been on a real, like Nick and I are incredibly close as friends, as partners, in a sense of working together and collaborating in terms of kind of strategies and ideas to try and bring the music, bring the project forward. And I'm really blessed to have my relationship with Alan in the studio, my producer, and my relationship with Nick, my manager, outside of the studio. Then I've got my relationship with Luke and Andrew, my bandmates. So, yeah, The Glitter and the Glue has really been a kind of a gateway song. I think a gateway song for a lot of cats to kind of become aware of what I'm doing. And yeah, so it definitely earned its place on the album. So yeah, that's where The Glitter and the Glue brings us to.
Even with the dark subject matter and what you're attributing that song to, what I love about it, there's a really nice punch and a kick and a really sense of great pop sensibilities to it. And within the album, that's what I love about this album. There's such a wide diversity of sound and sonic textures going all over the places, shards and shrapnel of your personality and what you are going through in terms of honoring Inga. What an amazing conceit to creating music. I applaud that. This is what I tell my students all the time. Stepping out of your comfort zone and taking a path less traveled can have so many intrinsic rewards. And I imagine this exploration provides a lot of riches for you. Okay, let's go to the next track that we're going to take a listen to. I really, really love this song. And this is called To a London Sunrise, track number 5. Let's take a listen. All righty. I remember messaging you how much I love this song. Can you give us further analysis on it, please?
Sure. I think the song is, it opens a window to a side of Inga's story that has really been obscured over the years. And it's one of the things that interested me, intrigued me most, and fascinated me most, and continues to fascinate me most. But it's something that's not really considered newsworthy because it's at odds with the sensationalism that tabloids and newspaper and press, cats in general, kind of deal in. And that is just the joy and the exuberance and the dreaminess of the days Inga spent in London in early April 1988, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 1988, when she was in London for those days. And partly because I can't get there, like the songs are a way for me to get there, but in life, I can't see exactly how it looked for her. I can't, be on that trip, but I'm fascinated by those train journeys that she undertook, for example, through the wilds of the English countryside in early April 1988, in the springtime, and the sense of zest that she would have been feeling and would have been seeing. Because you know how the sky looks a certain way just when spring is starting to kind of come into fruition and come into bloom, and those morning skies. So I find that really delicious notion, the thought of her waking up in London on those early spring mornings, those 3 spring mornings, April 1988, and what she saw and how the sun looked as it came through the room and as it shone across the carpet of the youth hostel and where she was staying in London those days. I'm fascinated by it, and I find it so beautiful. And it's something that's difficult to describe. It's something that's difficult to even explain because other cats never pick up on those things. They don't ask me about it. This is the first time I've been asked about that, even to be asked about that song or the genesis of that song in an interview. And it's lovely to actually get to delve into the songs, into the sonics, and also the story around the songs. But it's something that is, I mean, to me, it's an ongoing subject of fascination. And I've written many more songs trying to capture the core of those visions that I have or perceptions that I have of how it looked or how it felt or what she saw, where she was, when she was in those places, in those times, during what was the best week of her life. I mean, she speaks about it and writes of it very movingly in the postcards that have survived and in the diary extracts. And it's a very tangible depiction of her experiences and of that time frame that can never be repeated, that can never be relived. It's a portal. It's like a lost world. It's one of the reasons why I find it so moving and fascinating and enduring. I'm always trying to, I suppose the further we move away, and I've always been like this anyway in relation to life, but the further we move away from that time, the more conscious I am that it's escaping, and the more desire I have to sustain it or to try to sustain it through songs and through the videos that I've produced. And that's why the video to London Sunrise, I feel, captures the essence of that song so well. And playing it live, and also the guitar sounds, like playing it live, getting that sense of dreaminess and blissed out serenity that I really feel is of a piece with the time that the song is written about, April 1988. Not even so much the records of the time, but the feeling of spring. And like, I love sun. I love blue skies, dreamy blue skies. But being from Ireland, we have 1 week of sun per year, per summer. And in England, I'm hoping to experience this spring, this summer, if we get a summer, my first spring. And somewhere in the other, you are with very nice with your Irish card. But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, my own private Idaho in a way, because it's like a place that exists in my mind, but I've tried to bring it into the world. And yeah, it's I think it's like a dreamy depiction of those days and of that space, that pure space that she was living in until it all came crashing to a violent and, you know, callous and cruel halt 1 week later.
And to me, that's what makes that song so impactful, is that it has the etherealness, the dreamscape, the dream pop. It has the sparkling guitar melodies, beautiful. And you contrast that, the light and the dark together.
Exactly.
It's pretty phenomenal. And a sense of, like you said, spring, a hatching, if you will, of someone that, again, innocence, robbed, taken away. Yeah, it's really a really magnificent song.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else you'd like the listener to walk away with regards to floating above everything else?
I don't know if I should reveal this because it's something that's really nice, I think, for a listener, especially for a real, you know, sonically savvy kind of cat, you know, to pick up on like a real record lover like we are. But I will say it because there might be a cat out there, or it might be quite a few cats who are listening to this who haven't yet heard the record and who might not have a copy of it on vinyl. So they might not get to, you know, this is something that someone who just say invests in the digital copy of the record or even in the CD copy of the record wouldn't be aware of. But on the vinyl edition of Floating Above Everything Else, which I have it beside me because it's, as I said to my manager, Nick, who paid for the manufacturing costs and all the press costs and all the hiring a plugger and hiring a publicist. That was all thanks to him. But he was just here. He was like staying with me for the last couple of days while we were on tour, because we just played in the 100 Club in London the other night, and we're about to play in Manchester on Friday. And in between, he's going to travel up to Birmingham to stay with his mum. But while he was here, I was just showing that. I was just saying, like, it's my favorite thing to have in the world. That's why I have it on the table all the time, so I can always see it. And I love the artwork so much. But I suppose the thing I would say would be on the run-out grooves of the vinyl. Now, this is something going back quite a long way. Something that I first noticed when I fell in love with the music of the Smiths and Joy Division, who would always inscribe a message, a secret message, if you will, on the run-out grooves of the vinyl of the LP. And it's something, the very first vinyl records I ever bought were Joy Division I still have. There it is there. There's my copy of it. And New Order Substance. They were the first two vinyl records I ever bought. And when I brought them home, and of course, as a music lover, it's something that we do. We kind of devour it, and we look at the sleeve, and we open the gatefold, and we look at the record, all of that. And I remember through the process of doing this, gazing at the black vinyl and holding it up to the light, just in case I could see something. And there it was. There's a little, you know, message etched into it. So when I was, you know, committing to vinyl, black vinyl, my first full-length album, studio album, I thought I have got to create the same sense of discovery and kind of like a subtlety. You know, there's something lovely that someone would go to the trouble of doing that, and it wouldn't have any commercial impact. But there's not going to be one extra person who buys the record because it's there, but it's there because the cat cared enough to put it there. And I, as a fan and as a lover of music, something I'm very much into. So I thought to myself, what would be the essence of the record that I felt I could summarize it in one line? And of course, there is, for any cat who hasn't yet made a record or who intends to, there's actually a limit of characters that you can use, because when it's getting pressed by the pressing plant, they insist that you can only have it within a certain amount. So, but fortunately, the line I wanted on the first side of the vinyl, and the line I wanted inscribed into the grooves of the second side of the vinyl was going to fit. And the line on the first side of the vinyl, and I will give this away because it's worth saying, is, "Can I bring my Walkman?" Which might seem quite a nondescript thing to say. You think I could write something far more poetic or far more substantial or meaningful, but I felt it spoke to the music lover, and it echoed the music lover in me, because when I was a child and when my mum decided to leave my dad for the last time, and I was playing as a child at the foot of the stairs, and my mum called out to me from the top of the stairs, and she whispered to me. And it was very unlike my mum, because my mum is, quite exuberant and quite, talkative and loud. And I knew it immediately that something's up, because she never whispers. And she asked me, "Will you ask your dad if he's going out tonight?" And immediately, even though I was in my childlike headspace of play, I knew this is a loaded question, because he was always out. There was one night in my entire childhood that he was at home. He was never at home at night. So I knew this is just not just a standard question. And why would she whisper it as well? So I sussed it out enough, and I'd been through enough departures with her from to know that this is a significant question. And I instinctively responded, "Are we leaving?" And I saw her pause at the foot of the stairs, as if she was asking herself, "Will I be honest, or will I?" Because I was 8 years old. She could have lied to me and tried to try and conceal it with some, bit of happy fluff. But she didn't. To her credit, she was straight with me, and she said yes. And I just replied with, "Can I bring my Walkman?" And she said yes. And that's all I needed to know. As long as I have music with me, I can go anywhere. So that's why I thought that'd be the most succinct statement to have on side one, that speaks to my childhood self. Like, if you told my childhood self, the age of 8, that I'd get to make my own record one day and I'd get to put it out on vinyl, because that was a long time before I started showing an inkling towards being a musician and an artist, I would have been absolutely agog. And of course, it was at a time that, it's a kind of very, what's the word? Useful, formative, vulnerable time. But then when you flip the record over, I thought, I want to have a sentence that pertains to Inga, and something that's fair, that pertains to the meaning of the music, and why she occupies such a central space in my creative landscape, and essentially what it is that I'm trying to do, and what it is that she's doing, however unwittingly, through the kind of the arc of my art.
This interview has been really eye-opening in terms of getting to know who you are as a inspiring musician, someone that's on a path to discovery, and someone that clearly has a strong compass on, it's not so much north, south, east, west compass, but a compass that you're heading in some direction. You may not know where exactly, but there's confidence in not knowing the exact location. And that harkens back all the way, in my mind, to your childhood and being moved around, and how you said earlier that has made you a warrior, that has made you strong. And I have to ask you this question, Keeley. Do you ever stop and think sometimes, if there was no tragedy to Inga's story, do you think you'd still be on the path towards the heart of what you love so much, making music.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know what form it would take, but it would take chances are it would take a pretty singular form, because like any cat who's coming at it from their own angle, it's the one thing that they all have in common. Even they're all different, whether it's Morrissey, whether it's Jarvis Cocker, whether it's Brett Anderson, whether it's Mickey Rennie, whether it's Roger Waters, whether it's me, whether whoever it is, that they all see the world in a particular way, or have their own approach to life, or approach to art, or take on the world, or take on human nature, and they bring that to be, they create their own world and bring other cats along with them, or other cats want to participate in that space, either in the context of a live show or in the context of a record. And I love living in each of their own respective spaces as a listener, as a music lover. And that's a really great thing that is open to us all as artists, and as whether it's as music artists or as cats who do other kinds of art, like authors or whatever, storytellers or painters or sculptors, is that, you're in a position to create your own space out of nothing. And essentially it's one of the things about Inga is, like, she was taken out of the world so young, 18 years old. Who knows anything at the age of 18? I didn't know anything. She was taken out of the world before she had a chance to. Who knows what she would have done? She might have gone on to be an artist. She was obviously very talented with art. But because she was taken out of the world so young and so abruptly, she has become, to my mind, her life has become art. And that last week of her life is the most art that she can be, because she didn't get to create art beyond that. So she is the art, to my mind. And it's great to know that can be the case. Like, even though she didn't get to make albums, she's getting to inspire the making of albums. So it's like a posthumous victory that I think that she's, responsible for. And it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to conclude and close the curtains temporarily with a little bit of lighthearted talk, and that is Britpop.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to describe a band, 1, 2, no more than 3 words. So I'm going to bring up a band's album or a song or just the band's name. And I just want to know your take. Okay?
Okay.
Because I know how much you like Britpop. Here we go. Pulp.
Incisive social commentary.
Blur.
Eclectic, energetic, guitar orchestra. And that word that you've heard of this, Johnny Marr concocted this word, or invented this word to describe his approach to guitar playing. And it's something I would apply to Graham Coxon as well, who has such a mastery of his instrument and plays in such a beautifully intricate way, and such a big, part of their art. So yeah.
I love that. All right, a couple more. Lady Killers.
Spiky arseholes, because obviously it depicts free males who were very kind of sleaze bags, essentially. And I'm going to say eye roll, because that is kind of 2 words, but there's with a little dash between it, so it counts as 1 word, I think. Because I love the video for Lady Killers, and there's a particular scene in it where Mickey rolls her eye when one of the guy characters is kind of trying to regale her with his, seductive patter, and she knows the score, as she says in the song, and as she does.
Oh, shaved heads, rave heads on the pill. Got too much time to kill. Get into bands and gangs. Oh, here they come, the beautiful ones.
Okay, right. Well, one of the great things about that record coming up is that it is such an effervescent, colorful, characterful explosion of sonic energy. Um, so I would say the three words to describe, or the three words that come to mind when I hear that lyrical extract or excerpt from Beautiful Ones would be narcotic. And I would say liberty. It was a real sense of freedom and exuberance about it. And I'm going to say Oakes because Richard Oakes, I think, and I say this as probably Bernard Butler's biggest fan, I think Richard Oakes is so underrated as a guitarist. I love his guitar playing. I love his guitar tones. I love the glammy tones of his playing on that record. So yeah, my man Richard, it's all over that track.
Two more.
Bring him on.
So I start a revolution from my bed because you said the brains I had went to my head. Step outside, summertime's in bloom. Stand up beside the fireplace. Take that look from off your face.
Very good. Okay, Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger. I'd say the three words that come to mind with regards to that. Well, first I'd say is Irish, because obviously Noel and Liam Gallagher's mum and dad were Irish. And stand up beside the fireplace, take that look from off your face is something that Noel and Liam's mum, Peggy, used to always say to them. And it's something I can hear an Irish, my mum's Irish, well, I'm Irish as well, but it's something very much that a woman or mother of that generation, the era, were always trying to present their kids as well as possible, even though they're ragamuffins. But they would say, take that look from off your face. So I'd say Irish, I'd say anthemic, because it's a supremely anthemic pop song. And I would say, I have to say, by the way, I absolutely love that record, What's the Story, Morning Glory. It tends to be, because it was so huge at the time and it was so ubiquitous culturally, it was everywhere. And what tends to happen with records like that is that they tend to be weirdly under-regarded as time goes on, because they've been so subjected to overexposure that people tend to become sick of them, or tend to kind of think, oh, it's just, oh, that's their pop record or whatever. It's a great record. It really is. I'll bow to no man my love of What's the Story, Morning Glory. And even Noel does it himself. He does the record a disservice by undermining the guitar sounds on that record. The guitar sounds on that record are great. Guitar sounds on Roll With It, the guitar sounds on Hey Now, etc. But yeah, so the third word I'd use to describe Don't Look Back in Anger after Irish and after anthemic would be warmth, or rather colour, because there's a real colour in the sound, and the kind of the strings on that song are very imbued with warmth. So I would say colour.
Your encyclopedic mind is pretty impressive. Last one.
Okay.
People ask me, what is my favorite song by the Stone Roses? And here it is. All time. A girl consumed by fire. We all know her desire from the plans that she has made. I have her on a promise. Immerse me in your splendor. All the plans that I have made. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one.
Wow. Okay. I'm so glad that you're closing with a Roses tune, because that was another really essential building block in my, lifescape. When I heard 5 years late, when I heard the Stone Roses eponymous debut album, a really, really, shitty cassette, which was all warped, but somehow, despite all of the technical imperfections of that tape, the songwriting was so strong and the musicianship was so great, and the magic that John Leckie captured of the band during those sessions was so undeniable that it survived that really lo-fi listening experience that I had with it. So the three words I would use to describe This Is the One are fresh, because it sounds like the way they never sounded again. That there was, I love The Second Coming, and I love non-album singles like Fool's Gold and One Love for different reasons. But they never sounded as wild-eyed and as innocent again as they sounded on the eponymous debut. So I'd say fresh. I would say exultant, because there's such a rush to that record and to that song. Everlasting, because that song, that album, will outlive all of its creators. And as the late, great Tony Wilson said, great songs live forever, great songs last forever.
You're absolutely right. That was a nice stroll down memory lane for me. And thank you for all of your insightful comments regarding Britpop. Okay, Keeley, what can the listener expect in terms of anything coming down the line in 2024 for you? More touring, any singles, anything you want to share? You get the last word.
Okay. So this is certainly relevant to the current time frame, because it's something that is very much preoccupying my mind and the immediate inner circle of Keeley, as we strive to find a compatible label partner with us to try and take the music forward. There's an album that Alan and I have been working on for the past 4.5 years, and that I started writing it 6 years ago. So it's essentially taken 6 years to make, from the very inception of it, writing-wise. But during that time, I've been writing and releasing other records. It's not like an ultimate album that is going to be coming up next. That is written, recorded, mixed, and mastered, and will hopefully be released this year. And that we're currently previewing songs from it on the current tour. And we're hoping it's going to come out the last week of August. And if anyone who's heard and liked or even loved Floating Above Everything Else, next record takes that blueprint and blows it skywards, because it's everything that made that record special, but in widescreen style. It's like all the dark parts are darker, all the spacey parts are spacier, all the urgent and incisive parts are even spikier and more compelling. So, and also storyline wise, it's a more it's an even more linear telling of a story, and it's a more specific. It's essentially a concept album, really. So that is coming up this year. And there might be an interim single, actually, that is a non-album single, just because I've got so many songs. And it's something I always loved it when bands used to do that. You don't really get too many bands doing it. You get the odd cat doing it, like Julia Jacqueline has done it with some great songs of hers, but she's released them either side of records. So that's coming up this year. Also, we're hoping to release a live album of our set at the 100 Club that we played the other night. That we call Live at the 100 Club. Partly because it's such a legendary venue. You know, the Sex Pistols have played there, the Rolling Stones have played there, the Kinks, the Jam, all those cats. And it was quite momentous for us to get to play there. And it was a really incendiary set. And we got a good recording from it off the desk. So hopefully we'll get to put that out this year as well. And of course, last year when I was in America doing a promo tour, and I did a session with WFMU, and we released that as a live album, A Reason to Explore, it's called. So I kind of really like, I like documenting and chronicling life as it's lived, and the story as it emerges and goes on, and try and, you know, release and have every year to be colored by a release. You know, I'll be releasing one album a year, every year. It's very important to create that, you know, sonic story that you can trace the arc of development and progression over time. There'll be no downing tools and, getting it together in the country for, forever and a day. I can assure you.
Keeley Moss, this has been very illuminating. This has been real education. And I appreciate the way that you speak about your passions, your enthusiasm for music, your enthusiasm to present yourself as who you are and what you may offer to this world. And the suitcase that you carry around of extraordinary experiences based on your personal life and with Inga's tragedy, I can see it being the fuel for inspiration in so many ways. And as a listener and a lover of music, I love how unconventional you approach these things. So thank you. And I'm going to wrap it up and put a full stop, as they say in England, on this conversation. When I'm tired and all alone, Lord, shine a light on me. As when I'm lonesome as can be, Lord, shine a light on me. Thank you for shining a light on your life.
Well, thank you so much for having me, William, and for creating a space for me to try and answer as accurately and as honestly the questions that you've posed. And thank you to your listeners for listening and for being part of this conversational ramble.
You're quite welcome. All my pleasure. My name is W, aka William, host of the High Art on the Edge page. Thank you for tuning in for this very intimate, real, and honest conversation with Keeley Moss from the band Keeley. You can check out her work all over social media. Take care, everyone. Ciao.
odyssey.